Welcome to Destination Divergence. This is episode some number greater than 69. We don't know what that number is. We may never find out. Science is still searching for it. But what we do know is that you all just finished the Plane of Peace. And now you're heading on to what might possibly be one of the biggest speed bumps on your journey here. A plane that is a very big F in chat. Thank you. That was good. What might possibly be one of the biggest speed bumps in your journey, yes, and one that you have been potentially dreading for quite some time now. You've been trying to get to this plane ever since you stopped the plane of light from doing its thing. Talking about the plane of darkness, Mabar, the endless night. This is not the plane of death, or well, this is not the plane of the dead, I should say. It very much is the plane of death. There is an entirely different plane where souls go when they die and are processed and put in their proper place and all of that, and delivered to whatever god they served or what have you. No, the plane of darkness, Mabar, is the plane of just death. It is the plane of darkness. It is the plane of undead. It is the plane of evil. It is the plane, the antithesis of light. It abhors life. And well, unfortunately for all of you, you're all still very much alive. So you probably will not have a very good time there.
We'll do our best.
Yes, indeed. You'll do your best. We finished off last session with you all meeting a barkeep named Solus, who ran an inn called The Last Resort, which is where you completed your journey through the Plane of Peace. After telling him some stories, he revealed his secrets to you, and you were able to leave peacefully. No actual pun intended there. My brain just associated that. So I believe you're all currently in Clemence's magnificent mansion. No, you stayed overnight in the Plane of Peace. So you've saved the spell slot.
Yes.
And you were going to go directly from the Plane of Peace. So you're currently staying at the Last Resort. You may all long rest if you have not already done so. I don't remember. I think everyone had already. It looks like everybody's like full on hit dice and stuff too.
I think so.
Yeah.
I remember rolling stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah, we did, and we got our max HP and stuff. Yeah, everything is sorted.
Oh, you recovered -6
Jeez.
because
-6.
Excellent. All right. So I think I mentioned a bit last session, but I'll reiterate again. Due to all of the planar research that was done, whether it was Nakarth traveling or some of you just doing research, collecting artifacts, reading into records and doing experiments, whatever it was, the party collected a lot of data on the planes over the past couple years. And so you know a thing or two about each of the planes, even if you haven't visited them personally. And you know that it is very hard to cast healing or radiant magic in the Plane of the Dead. You know that it absolutely hates life and will probably seek to snuff it out at any opportunity. You know that undead are empowered there. I think that is about the extent of what you have uncovered about this plane. You don't know where the center of this plane may be, but I'm sure you'll find your way there eventually. Yeah, so what kind of preparations are you all making in the morning before you travel? Was there a fancy feast cast the night before?
There was a fancy feast the night before, and there was a party-wide foresight given in the morning. I think I've already
yes,
taken off the points
yes.
for that.
I think
Yep.
the 6 hit points there, Carrick, were actually, I think I added that to you.
from that's probably what it was. So 6 max
Yeah.
HP.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
I made a terrible roll.
Should we disguise ourselves as skeletons? Do you think that'd be helpful?
I don't know.
Would it be possible to just turn everything of our flesh invisible while keeping our skeletons and our belongings visible? That might be the easiest way to go about it.
You know what, Clem? I like your attitude. How can you do that?
That's a good question. I have heard that spells can be modified by very powerful wizards So maybe we could just, look around for somebody who can cast invisibility and ask them if they know how they might modify it to leave. Perhaps the belongings might be too complicated. Maybe just to exclude our skeletons from the whole invisibility thing.
As someone who knows how to cast invisibility, is that possible?
Knows how to cast invisibility what? Sorry?
Clemens was suggesting the idea of attempting to cast invisibility on someone, but leaving only their bones visible.
That is not how the spell invisibility works, unfortunately. This is a good thought.
Carrick just speaks up and says that no, that won't work.
Oh well. Clemens is now determined to find somebody who can teach her how to cast invisibility, but it leaves the skeleton invisible, but that's going to be a long-term project.
I think
Greater invisibility
is also a spell that Clemens is intimately familiar with at this point, so... Excellent. Yeah, it is greatest invisibility.
Clemens actually has known how to cast invisibility during this conversation, but
Yep.
she's not that kind of wizard.
Maybe it's actually lesser invisibility since it makes less of you invisible.
Hmm.
The whole job. It's like a first level invisibility.
is
Corporeal invisibility because it takes the body away and leaves the bones.
can I downcast invisibility to try?
Invisibility, but it just makes you semi-transparent. Just turns
Gelatinous
your
invisibility.
a little bit. Exactly. All right. So any buffs you're trying to throw out before you teleport there?
I got death wards, so I'll just do that. I'll give everyone a death ward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
I can
appreciated.
use-
I don't think I have any buffs I want to cast on myself or anybody else.
I can use skill empowerment to make sure we get there.
Ooh.
Solid.
Just one final note that the verbal component will be I've got a bone to pick with you. That is all.
All right, so we got
God
foresights, death wards, skill empowerment for Carrick. Am I missing anything?
This should go without saying at this point, but everyone just make sure you have your 26 temp HP in addition to the 6 max HP.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wouldn't happen to be able to buy arrows of undead slaying in the plane of peace, would I?
Probably not, unfortunately. They like to sell lots of trinkets and things that have, whether it's stories tied to them or whatever, it has been very emphasized in the few dealings with the people you've had here. They don't tend to carry weapons or anything of actual destructive force.
Do they happen to carry, like glass containers of substances that maybe when you open them they might aerosolize and charm everybody and make them feel real mellow and happy, which might possibly be able to be thrown as a potion of charm?
You could go searching through the markets for something like that if you were so inclined.
Clemens would like to go searching for potions of charm.
Splash
and
potion
or potions of, yo dude, where'd you get this stuff? This is good.
all right.
Just want to make this the violent skeletons real chill is what she's intending, because she knows for certain that there's going to be violent skeletons in the plane of death.
All right. So give me, I believe.
They don't got no lungs, but she's not thinking of that.
Because there are special Eberron rules for this roll that I'm just now remembering for this. I want to make sure I look it up. All right, there we go. Oh wow, that did not take me at all to the right place in this tab. Here we go. If you could roll me a investigation check. Oh yeah, okay. So you go looking through all these different stalls and different tents, all sorts of things in this great city, this endless market, and or unending, some might even call it. And you do find a shack of a little like insect-like creature with many different arms, which I believe, actually you would recognize, Clemens. I'm trying to remember which party. Yes, this was the party that went to Zendrick, wasn't it? With the exception of Milos. And I'm also blanking on the name of the creature, but those insect people that you like saved in Zendrick from the UNT. What are they called? I cannot recall. Either way, it's an insect person. I might as well.
No
just
idea.
that way.
Yeah.
So they speak with you telepathically when you approach their booth, and they are currently mixing up various potions with their multiple arms, trying to work things out, whatever it is. They got potions just like strapped all over them. It's the most potion-y potion shop you have ever seen in your life. And when you communicate that you would like a potion that you could get to charm others, you will hear spoken into your mind this insect voice again.
The Thrakeen.
Thrakeen, thank you. That's it. He will speak to you in your mind and inform you that yes, love potions are a very common request, but by law he is not allowed to sell them. However, you might be able to get something that has the effect of like a charm person scroll as a potion, if that is what you're looking for. Seems like there's a little bit of translation error somewhere in there, but
Why, yes, I think that is exactly what I'm looking for.
alright.
She says immediately, like going into her inventory, remembering that people barter around here.
That is correct. It is a barter system here. So, having located what you're looking for, what do you think you would want to trade for this item?
That is a good question. I've got a scroll of lightning lure here. It makes quite sparkly sorts of things. How would you feel about trading for this? I've also got rope. Lots of rope.
I think they'll take that deal.
Okay.
A scroll of a spell that they have not ever seen before. It's not like they things like that, spells that have more of a combat focus, are strange and unusual and alien in this place. So they probably have more worth than you would think. So they will gladly take that, and so you can add a charm potion to your inventory.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else anyone wants to accomplish here on this plane? All right. It sounds like it's time for that gate roll then, if I'm not mistaken.
Seems like the time.
All right, you have expertise now. We stacking a guidance on there somewhere?
5 sure.
All right. Well, the chances of failing this are pretty slim at this point.
Yep. Nigh impossible. Actually, I think it is impossible at this point.
Oh,
perfect.
Because I have a plus 17. Almost impossible.
Well, if your total is 17, it's a DC 30 check, so...
Oh, DC 30, never mind.
Yeah, so it'd be better than a coin flip. Right? Wait, no, worse than a coin flip. It's something. It's good. No, better than a coin flip. I don't know what I'm saying. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day.
Alright, so plus 6 and plus 1d4. At advantage. Let's go. Let's go.
Very good.
Nice.
All right, so you're getting used to this now. A near 40 check, which is so far and above what is normally an impossible to reach check. You're getting quick at this. You're able to remember the patterns in your head that you've previously traced out, and you open up the gate to the plane of death. Where are you doing this, by the way? You are opening a gate to the plane of death in the middle of the plane of peace, which might be fun. I want to know what your thoughts are on that.
I'd probably find an area with not many people around, if that's possible.
I think that would be possible. I think the best way for you to do that, potentially, is here in the immeasurable market. You return to gravity. Elsewhere on the plane, you've been able to fly around, but If you leave the immeasurable market and head back out where you all have free flight through the air, you could just open the gate in midair around nobody, just out in the void. That might be the safest place. And so, unless there's objections to that, you can head out there. Which is not a very far journey. The door that you all chose when you came here to the immeasurable market, of the many doors that lead into the spire, it was only a couple blocks away. A very quick walk. So if you open up the gate, strangely enough, you're used to this gate at this point. This is your, this will be your 5th plane that you've seen through this gate at this point. You're used to each of these doors having a certain color to it, a certain property. Some of the swirls of magic within the gate they reveal some property about the plane itself. They're related to the plane. But you open this gate to the realm of the dead, or the realm of death, rather. I'm going to mix that up a lot. I apologize. And you feel cold air on the breeze and a bright white portal.
So, Clemens, having several dead souls bound to her, does she have any special miserable, or even maybe not miserable, feeling as this opens?
Clemens doesn't feel one way or another about this portal.
Interesting. Well, shall we jump through? The skeletons are waiting for us.
Well, we've got limited time.
Alright, let's get this shit over with.
Right. So as you all fly through the portal and you get closer and closer to actually touching the portal, this cold grows stronger and stronger until it's almost unbearable. As you poke your heads through the portal and fly through, and the gate closes behind you. I believe it closes somewhat quickly, right? Or is gate one of the ones that lasts a while?
I think it'll last like a minute. I can check.
So you have potential so it doesn't close behind you then. We'll just say that at least. You all pop through the portal together into a field of ice, stretching out into the distance. There is a sun above you and sunlight beaming down, and I should probably kill the intro music at this point. It's been a while. There's sun beaming down on you, which you do not expect for the realm of darkness. There's a cold wind piercing through you, and I'd like everybody to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, heck yeah.
Strong.
38.
That's a good one for me.
All right.
22.
Everybody passes, but it is bitter cold here.
I closed the gate.
All right.
No way back now.
Milos, you recognize this place. Or at least you've seen somewhere quite like this before. You felt this bitter cold once, a couple years ago, in a different group of adventurers. This is, or at least appears to be, Rizia, the plane of ice.
Oh.
Whoops.
You sure we're in the right place, Carrick?
I'm not seeing any skeletons. They must be invisible skeletons.
I'm positive. I did everything right. I could not have taken us to the wrong place.
Like,
What do you mean, are we in the right place? Why does this not... I mean, you feel how cold it is. If there's nothing alive, naturally there'd be no heat, because things that are alive are warm, right?
I don't know.
yeah. This feels a lot like Rizia, but Rizia also doesn't like things that are warm, and the ice will try and eat us.
Oh, that's not ideal.
Does the ice start eating me? Am I looking down?
The ice is not currently eating you now.
Squints at ice.
Menacing
Yeah,
ice.
goes back.
Men icing.
Yeah, the
What?
plane tries, like Risia tries to extinguish warmth specifically,
Hmm.
and
So
I think
make
it mostly started consuming uh people after they got knocked down. I think it was, oh, was it Eli or was it Leroy that almost got buried? I don't remember.
I believe it was Leroy. Because if Eli got knocked unconscious, y'all would have been in deep shit. As the only healer at that party.
Would it be a good or a bad
Oh,
idea
no,
for
you
me
go
to
first. I'm
summon
so
a fire elemental here? Would that be asserting our dominance or inviting death?
Both?
Hmm. That checks out, I suppose.
Uh, I mean, when we were in Risia, we tried to make an igloo to stay warm.
Oh, it's
Um,
like getting in the jaws of a T-Rex to stay warm, I suppose.
yeah, the igloo collapsed on us and tried to bury us in the snow. Um,
Multiple
What a
times.
legend.
There were multiple igloos, all of which collapsed in on you.
That sounds amazing.
Not at the time.
Like, what an utter Chad of a plane to actively try to murder visitors. Like, doesn't even
Oh,
send
I
monsters,
assume
it
it
just
doesn't.
crushes them with ice. That's just breathtakingly cool.
I assume it doesn't murder all the visitors. It just murders the not cold visitors.
Hmm.
It also sent a very powerful elemental called the Killing Cold to
Hmm.
visit, but that was dealt with swiftly with a hammer.
Eric, before, okay, just to see if we are in the right place, where, what does the compass say?
Good idea. And I'll pull out the compass and see if it's pointing anywhere, where it's pointing.
Indeed. So you take out the world anchor, which has been, the other group calls it everything but a world anchor as well. It just it's a compass now. It's a barometer now. It's a I don't know. They keep on finding new names for it. But your world anchor is it pointing in a direction. It's actually slightly behind you and to your right, and you can turn to face it, and it behaves as you'd expect. Unlike some of the previous planes you've been in where it's been a bit wonky, this one definitely has a direction to it, so that's good.
I think we're in the right place. Seems
So,
like it.
wait. I remember something from the plane of light. If that plane created planes and this plane eats them, do you think it ate part of Risia and that's why it's here?
My mind is
You know,
blown.
Milos, it's pretty smart, actually.
If that's true, we're in for some real fucking shit.
You can say that again.
Let's do this quick. Can everyone fly right now, or are we walking?
I can fly.
I can fly temporarily.
I can fly.
What is our slowest speed?
My 30 feet because the boots.
Ah, gotcha. So then no need to waste a fly spell, Milos.
All right.
Unless we need to not walk. Because we might as well walk.
I can sprint if the rest of you walk, I guess.
I will be floating along by.
All right, so you go in 60 then? Is your minimum speed?
I
Or
am
maximum speed?
sprinting at 60 for my maximum speed.
All right.
All right. I will cast fly on myself then.
Okie doke.
Uh,
How long does fly last?
10 minutes.
Okay. So you all head off in the direction of the world anchor, and 10 minutes pass, which means two things. One, I need everybody to make me a new Constitution saving throw against the cold. And two, fly runs out.
Wait, do we get these at advantage? Because foresight.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah.
I would like to remind you that Clemens has a big, fluffy polar bear coat.
Excellent.
That's so good.
Perfect. So yes, everybody easily passes once again. Some of you are not dressed for this, but regardless, you're able to shrug it off. You have enough just magical resistance that even the piercing cold of what is probably one of the coldest places in all of existence, you're able to shrug off due to just being such legendary characters. And so you continue, but yes, that is one casting of fly that has now run out.
Does it seem like we're any closer to being out of ice?
Give me a perception check.
Perception. 23.
So as you're flying up there, you do notice as you're heading out, you can't quite. You actually no. I think with 23s, sure. You first begin to notice that the cold is getting less cold as you're traveling. You're starting to either get used to it, or it's actually becoming a little less harsh as you're going. And finally, eventually, in the direction you're heading, there's a giant mountain, and as you get closer enough that you can see a little bit past it, a little bit beyond it, you can see just empty space. The ground cuts off at a certain point. As if the horizon that you've been seeing in the distance is approaching you instead of staying the horizon as you've been going towards it. Like you're approaching the edge of the world. So you do feel like while you were flying, you were getting closer. You would probably estimate, if you flew at that same speed again, another 20 minutes or so.
Me seeing that this is happening, I'm gonna suggest, yo, if it's that close, why don't you not burn any spell energy? Let's just walk the rest of the way. It'll be less than an hour. We can do this.
Sounds good.
All right.
Continues to fly.
Oh yeah, me
Flying
too. I'm like
intensifies.
flying circles around you motherfuckers. Yeah. Got
Strong
90
bird
speed.
energy.
Faye just doing loop-de-loops while going in a straight line.
Catbird.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So if you're on foot, it's going to take the same amount of time if you sprint. I guess sprinting might be rough on your stamina levels. So if you want to just walk, that's probably double the time. So a 40-minute walk, not too bad. It's through cold, but if you are going to walk, that's going to be 4 more Constitution checks from everybody.
Woo. I'm down.
We're crushing these, he says, like a fool.
Is that a check or a saving throw?
Sorry, Constitution saving throw. Thank you.
Should I just bang out all 4 right now and you can tell me if any fail?
Yeah, if any of them fail, just bang out all 4. That makes sense to me.
That's not
Start
great.
from Carrick's here.
Is this check failable with a minimum 21?
No.
Okay, I'm not. I'll roll just to see what numbers
So
I get.
warm. That last one, so fucking warm.
Oh, so fucking warm.
Jesus
It's towards the tail end of your
Christ.
journey. Too.
Milos.
I got
Milos is
2.
Just a space
Mi-
eater.
Milos has actually burned to death.
I got 2 17s. If I fail any of them, I will arcane deflect the cold and add +4 to that saving throw. I can do that once a turn.
Fair
I did
enough.
get a 14 and a 15. Are either of those failures?
Fortunately enough for you, keeping track of the DC as you guys leave this space, the DC of when you rolled 14 was a 13, and the DC of the 15 was a 14. It was increasing over time, but you have you scaled up with your rolls. you were 1 over on both of those, so easy enough.
Juicy.
So I love to see that. Love to see that. But yes, you make it to the edge of this world of ice, this just random chunk of ice in the middle of nowhere. And as soon as you get across that boundary, the cold stops, and the air temperature around you feels just natural. Feels You don't really feel it one way or another, but you probably for a moment feel like the snap to a much warmer temperature in the air feels very warm to you. But once you get acclimated to it, it's room temperature. It's very very comfy in a strange way. And as you were approaching the edge of the world, you saw several other things around you. Actually, you see other like chunks of stuff in the distance around you, some of them very far away. In a weird way, it kind of reminds you of the plane you just came from, with these just floating things in a space of just emptiness. But these are all much, much different. Instead of beautiful crystal towers and clusters spaced out across a beautiful blue sky, there's just a deep black void in all directions, dotted by chunks of planes that are constantly being eaten away. And speaking of that, as you see this chunk of Rizia that you have just escaped, you get closer and closer to the edge of it, and as you leave the place, the edges of it are crumbling and turning black. The cold turning to like just necrotic energy consuming the plane. There's definitely something very wrong with it. The white snow turns gray and then black by the edges, and it appears that the darkness of this plane is corrupting it slowly over time. It appears this chunk of the plane probably came here fairly recently, by the looks of it. Some of the other chunks of the planes also look somewhat recent, and as you get closer, or as you look farther and farther in the direction of where your compass is pointing, they appear to be in various more and more advanced stages of decay. As if, as you get towards the center of this plane, things are more and more, or have been here longer, and thus have been subjected to more of the planar energy.
Well, that seems potentially less than ideal.
I hope the pretty ice sculpture hasn't been eaten yet.
Directly ahead of.
Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something?
I was just gonna say, I think we have far more important things to worry about.
Yeah.
Potentially. Directly ahead of you, as you look out over this place of ice, and you begin to converse a little bit, there is what appears to be another pure white chunk of land, except it looks somewhat different than where you just were. While Rizia appeared to be a land of ice and just bitter cold, ahead of you lies a desert of extremely like pure white sand. This it almost looks like it's salt or something. It is strange. Like I said, in a strange way, it does remind you of Rizia, but you can see that everything is more smoothly swept instead of the craggy ice and snow that you saw back there, all broken off in various structures. That is what's currently nearby. And it's strange, you can see sort of a cross-section of the plains from here, right? These things some of them are floating, but a lot of them are, they stretch down into the void, as if like a large cookie cutter was just pressed into a plane from above that travels miles and miles down into the surface and creates this extremely deep section of the plane torn up out of nowhere. And every plane has different dimensions and different weird spatial things applying to it. But the one in front of you has that layer of sand forming the desert, and then a layer of rock beneath it, like you would expect any land formation to have. And then beneath that, I would like everybody... once you guys cross the threshold and look upon it, I need everybody to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, hell no. Yep, that seems about right.
Clemens is having a galaxy brain moment and still isn't, reaching anywhere near Milos's level.
Absolutely. Okay.
There's a crumpled tin can sound coming from near Faye for some reason.
Faye, that is a failure. Would you like to add anything to that? A 2 is.
You know what?
You rolled a 1 and a 2. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I think that one's gonna be a loss. We take those L's.
We
Man.
take those L's, indeed. Can you roll me a D100, please?
Oh no.
Back
Yeah,
at
yeah,
it
yeah,
again,
brain dead again.
baby.
Not the table.
Or it's near the middle.
Okay. and a D10, please, as well.
Oh
Wait,
no.
wait.
All right. I will leave you in suspense for a moment on what that all means while I describe what you see. Deep beneath this rocky layer of the plane in front of you and stretching far below you into the void is something extremely weird. You see what almost appears to be a gate, a portal, that is shaped like the plane, as if a cross-section of something magical was taken out. A magical space was pulled out of nowhere and put into this place. It doesn't make any sense in 3 dimensions. It has many more dimensions than that. You see a maze, an endless maze, and not a 3-dimensional maze again. No, this is 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knows how many dimensions this maze has as things fold in on each other and constantly shift around each other. And you see rats moving through this maze, working their way towards some goal somewhere. These clearly, as you can see them from the distance, incredibly large rats, but they look just like rats to you regardless. And as they swarm in and out, going around corners and into the depths and then back out around other corners, you witness this sight. And yes, you're peering into a fragment of the plane of madness, as some of you have also been to before.
At least they're not ants. That's all I've got to say.
What a cool one for me to fail.
Indeed. So this one, Faye, is a fun one because for the next 8 minutes, unless somebody intervenes in some way, you are going to, at every round, attack the nearest creature to you.
That's
So Faye just
okay.
goes feral and starts cat swiping at people.
Yeah, actually though, for clarification, am I like with total lucidity going for like my best spell attacks, or am I just swinging? Am I going ham? Am I just like slapping people?
Probably just slapping people, I would say.
Oh,
this
God,
site-
this site disintegrated.
Yeah, this sight draws Faye to some sort of panic that causes you to just lash out. Your fight or flight response is kicked in fully, and it says fight, and you just fight whatever's nearby.
Okay. Well,
I somehow doubt that Faye is actually going to do any real damage to anybody. So we can
yeah,
kinda
no,
skip
I'm
over all the
fucking
attack
harmless.
rolls. I don't know if Faye's -1 2-hit modifier will actually hit anybody's AC, really. I don't think so. I think everybody's got higher DC than 20.
I don't think I can actually
Yeah.
possibly do any
I don't think
damage.
Faye can actually hit anybody to deal real damage, but we'll say you all see Faye panic and try to like claw at you and like snarl, and you're clearly is not right in the head at the moment.
Oh boy. The cat's gone feral on us.
Rip.
I do like to think that you're just casually saying that while like fending Faye off with one arm.
It's just like Eric has a palm on my forehead, just like kind of outstretched, and I'm just like swimming both arms.
Perfect.
Faye is standing here and realizing something.
Yeah, definitely.
Could have been real bad for anybody else. This is actually kind of the ideal.
I'm standing here.
Yes.
I had him.
What do I do with her?
I mean, if she wants to hit you, then at least she'll keep following you around.
Clemens is gonna cast protection from evil and good on Faye.
All right. That will do it.
That sometimes works. Hey,
This is a low enough level of madness that will do it.
the universal turn it off and turn it back on spell.
Fair enough, you get.
It is saved by its protection from aberrations specifically.
Nice.
So yes, Faye, the Clemens cast a spell on you and you're okay. But here's the problem currently is this is a pretty massive chunk of plane that's in front of you, and it appears to be from the plane of madness, and it appears to be directly in your way. So you can either try to find a way around it if you've got the resources to fly through the void. You could try to land over there and walk through a plane of madness for a bit. It's up to you guys.
I mean, do you think we could solve a way through a 7-dimensional maze?
Oh, to be clear, the fragment of the plane that you could walk on appears to be just like an endless, like salt desert, just like clear, white, almost crystalline sand, made of some sort of substance you can't really actually tell what it is from here, but something. And down beneath it appears like wherever this plane was torn from, well, obviously Zoriat, that section of plane harbored this maze beneath it, wherever it was. And the way the maze just sort of cuts off on the sides, it appears that the maze was probably much larger, and this is probably just a small part of it. But you can just walk on the sands above, but that would definitely clearly still be part of the plane of madness.
And the anchor's pointing into the plane of madness?
It's not pointing into it, but it's pointing in the direction of it. Like, you're probably at level with the sands currently, and it's still just pointing at level directly ahead. So it's pointing like across it more than down into it or anything like that.
Is there a way around it?
It does appear to be rather large, but you could, if you have enough resources to transport yourselves, probably get around it, yeah. It is just one of the nearby, floating islands, so to speak, of this place, but it is a pretty large one.
How far do you think you can fly, Clemens?
I
Or sorry, I
suppose.
meant Milo.
About yay far, Clemens says happily.
Well, let me see. Give me just 1 second. Wait. I don't know. I could probably go like 7 or 8 miles.
But would that be using a lot of your spells?
Oh, literally everything.
That seems like a bad idea given where we are. Just my 2 cents. I feel like we're gonna have some rougher challenges to face than transportation.
I did get eaten by a Mecha Kraken last time I used all my spells on flight.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we should not do that.
That would be great right now. A magic carpet.
That is so true. Oh, now I'm thinking about that.
I was about to say that sounds like something that you would definitely be able to find in the unending market, and you might be able to find it there, but then I realized that literally everybody on that plane can just kind of fly whenever they want to. So maybe it wouldn't actually be such a common thing.
Vegeta, I can fly.
Drop my headphones, goddammit.
Okay,
Alright.
so it's let me get the lay of the land again. Madness is directly in front of us.
Yeah.
Is that
In front of you lies madness.
And is that only
Or-
flyable, or would we just need to fly to get around it?
It appears to be a desert of some kind. So you could walk on it. It looks like, yeah. If you want to avoid like landing in the plane of madness, that would be flying around it, yeah, or finding another nearby plane to walk on, and hopefully you can hop between planes enough to get there. But who knows what kind of route that would look like? The distances
And-
involved in that would be too far to see at this point.
Okay. Okay, so getting around it, you said, is like too far to even see.
So, you could either fly directly around the edge of it, right? Like just stay outside of its radius of influence. Don't go and land in it, and just kind of fly around the edge. That would be a lot of flight. You could potentially find some of the other floating islands around and sort of fly over to them, land on them, walk all the way across, hope that there's other islands on the other side you could fly to and land on that would be going in the right direction. That kind of thing you can't see yet because you'd have to, like, those islands are blocking what's behind them currently in your vision, so you can't really tell if there's anything around you there. I can list the other islands that are around you. I guess on either side of the plane of madness, there appears to be a section of actually another one that Milos recognizes. Funny enough, just a pile of bones and blood and flesh, with scattered weapons sticking out at odd angles all over the place. And at first glance, it looks like it might be from the plane of battle, but everything is far too red and ruddy and bloody. There's not enough constructs and such involved. There's no angels and things. It appears to be basically entirely devils. This appears to be a section of hell that has been torn out and brought to this plane.
I'm gonna point at it and say, let's not go there.
On the other side, you see a section of which one? What was it called? It's the plane. The other plane of death. The plane of the dead is Delur. It's a segment of Delur. It appears. This one you can see is just a mass of bricks in all directions. These stone gray bricks with just tunnels leading in and out. This one appears much like the maze beneath you, but actually more sensical in some way or another. You can just see tunnels heading in and out with even from here, that's probably all you can see from here. Actually, it's just these tunnels, these corridors built into this like endless, what appears to be an endless dungeon, essentially. Just it's like cells and brick walls, and it's all dark, and you know what I'm getting at, probably. It's the endless Dark Souls dungeon.
Oh man.
Wow, we're kind of fucked no matter where we go.
Yeah, none of it
That's
is very
where-
pleasant.
I'm gonna propose to y'all. I think pretty much everywhere it's gonna be fucked.
Yep.
I think we might want to just take the most direct path wherever that may take us.
I'm with you.
Sounds good to me.
I like that plan because it involves voiding hell.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I've ever been to hell.
No,
I hear so many cool adventures from when you all war friends went there. It sounds like a lot of fun. Probably because I didn't experience the horrific parts of it.
it turns you evil over time.
Interesting.
Yeah, that not about that life.
Yeah, let's get the fuck away from there.
There was a point in time when I was very worried that half of the party would just be the evil campaign would be that good, 'cause I think there was like one good player left out of the entire party. It's like, oh dear.
That was me.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah.
ironically,
Oh,
the
that's
one
just
good
fucking
player
trauma.
took the biggest deal with the devil on the plane too, which was also just very funny. So it's like even that, it's like, okay, everyone is definitely evil. The one person who is not definitely evil has compromised a few things already. It's like, this is just the evil campaign now. But it worked out. Okay, so if you're heading directly down to the plane of madness, it sounds like.
Yeah, let's go. We've had good times there.
Oh, great times.
Absolutely fantastic times.
Just got to remember to take our protection from good and evil shots before we go down, and we'll be safe from several things at least.
At the very least, several things, yeah.
Let's take our schizophrenia medicine.
Exactly. All right. So as you all sat down on this, on the edge of this plane, which it'll probably take you at least one more cast of fly to get here from Rizia, if that's okay with you marking that off.
Of course,
because it is a little bit of a distance away, but it does exist there, fortunately. You guys begin traversing these sands, and when you put your feet on the sand, it does feel like sand. It is strange, though. It doesn't appear to be like any weather ever gets to this place in any form. The sand is almost glass-like, like it's a million tiny shards of glass that are all ground so fine that there's something weird about its texture. It doesn't feel like real sand.
Lovely.
There's a slight amount of reflection to it as you walk across it. And it's going to take you guys a while. So let's buckle in for that. But as you travel, we can kind of montage the travel a bit. Partway through, after you're deep into this plane, I think Carrick and Milos both have pretty good passive perceptions. Is that correct? I think that's the highest in the party. Is
Mine is
22.
Okay, 22 and 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, you both notice this easily as you're walking. We'll say probably maybe it's Faye is farther up ahead of both of you for some reason as you're walking, and you're just looking ahead and you see just the subtle sign of Faye's reflection in the sand, which is not a perfect reflection. It's extremely blurry, right? The surface is not perfect or anything. But instead of like a shadow in this place, it's almost like you cast a reflection onto the ground below. And both of you, for a second, just catch Faye's reflection doing something different than Faye. You see it reach up to scratch its head real quick, then put its hand back down and mirror what Faye was doing exactly.
Faye, your reflection's haunted.
Oh.
Is that normal?
I look down at it.
Your reflection is looking back at you. It is your reflection.
Don't trust anybody, Faye, not even your reflection.
Let's just be careful. And let's just watch each other's backs, okay?
That's a good idea, yes.
Yeah, let's walk in formation of some sorts. Maybe so we're all mostly seeing each other's reflections, just in case they go rogue. Honestly, there's bound to be weird shit happening here, but
Should we like shoot Faye's reflection just in case? Like, would that be a bad idea?
Well, if it's something that would attack us, it's just waiting for a chance to ambush us, so we might as well. And then Clemens is gonna blast it in the face with an arrow.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Which is funny to everyone else's perspective because the reflection is differently reflected for each of you from your different. So Clemens, from Clemens' perspective,
Clemens just completely misses to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Clemens shoots at the ground and just hits in front of her somewhere. Everyone else is like, "What the fuck?"
dead on.
However, Clemens, you see the reflection dodge. It just kind of ducks its head out of the way one way and then snaps back to where it was.
It dodged me.
Everyone
it doesn't want to get hit.
The reflection move in a similar way, but from a different perspective.
Oh, fuck that. Oh, I don't like that.
Do I need to roll initiative?
No, I think that's fine for now.
Okay. Clemens is gonna squint angrily at it and then cast magic missile.
All right.
Dodge this.
a bunch of magic missiles plunge into the sand, and you see the magic missiles appear in the reflection as well. I mean, they're reflected as they travel over, right? And as they plunge into the sand, they meet their mark on this reflection. Which again, to everyone else, it does not appear like this perspective makes any sense. Clemens just fires magic missile, a spell that always hits, and it just goes directly into the sand, hitting nothing. But you see the reflection wince in pain, and then disappear. And Faye no longer has a reflection.
I did it. I knew I could outsmart a reflection. Faye, do you feel alright?
Hey DM, do I feel alright?
Looking down at your feet and not seeing a shadow or reflection or anything in this place is a bit strange. But so far you feel fine. And you look up to answer that question of Faye, and you see your reflection behind Faye with its arms poised, just about to grab Clemens's reflection's neck.
I see mine doing
You
that?
see, yes, you see an image of yourself about to strangle Clemens's image.
I point at it and say, "Nope, the reflection moved." It's like Carrick move.
I guess I'll try and hit the reflection with my blade.
All right. You hit it easily enough. These things, they mimic your movements unless they're trying to avoid, and when you're just striking at the sand. But again, to everyone else, the perspective looks weird. Nothing makes sense. You guys are striking at each other's reflections now, until eventually all of them have disappeared. You chased all of them off, and now the surface you thought was reflective, it doesn't appear to be reflective at all, and you're not sure why you ever thought sand could be reflective in the first place. But I would like everybody to give me an intelligence saving throw, please.
Heck yeah.
Alright. Did so well before. Can I get an encore?
Sure, I'm glad I had advantage so I didn't roll a 1.
True. All right.
And I will +4 that if it would fail.
That would fail, and a +4 would save you.
Hey,
Unfortunate
my
for
lows.
Faye.
Hey, my lows.
Can I flash fade?
Ayo.
Hey yo.
I mean, I don't think that's what this campaign is all about, but you may add a +5 to Faye's roll. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which does save Faye.
No, Faye would be the one flashing. Thank you. Thanks.
All right. So you've all survived madness for now, and so you continue your journey. Eventually, you come across a very strange-looking building. It doesn't seem to make much sense, and I don't think any of you have ever seen any architecture like this before. No, that's a lie, actually. I apologize, because this group went to the plane of chaos. So this looks similar to the architecture of the Gith that you saw in the plane of chaos, holding their own like last bastion of order against the chaos. This is some sort of some small building, not like a giant fortress like the last one. It is a small, very round structure, like a dome on top, and several smaller round structures nearby, almost like little pills sticking up out of the sand. They're connected together by little bridges that are enclosed. Very sci-fi looking buildings out of nowhere. And again, just a pure white structure against the pure white sand around you, which is odd. But yeah, that is in your path. Well, not quite directly in your path, but you come near it while you're just heading in a straight line towards your destination. Would you like to investigate it, or do you want to walk on by?
Oh, let's check that out.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right. You head in the door, and inside well, I mean, around the outside, there's only one door. So if you were to peek in that, it actually appears that the door that was on this thing was another just perfectly smooth surface with no like doorknob or anything that you would interface with to open this thing. But it appears to be off of its hinges, torn off from the inside out for whatever reason. Inside, there is a flat, strangely cobbled together looking thing. Despite the rest of this building being so smooth and so perfect and so intricately crafted, there's this weird, almost steampunk looking machine in the middle of the room here. It is like a flat table with a glass surface in the middle and lots of gears and things clicking on the inside, knobs, steam shooting out of it in different directions. You all recognize some different magic runes glowing in different places. This is some sort of artificery contraption. There are multiple doors leading out of here actually there are two doors, I should say, leading out of here into other nearby smaller pods that make up part of this building. The rest of this room outside of the contraption are a fairly simply constructed like table and chairs, a bit of a living room space where there's a couple large seats structured together, sort of like a sofa. There appears to be a kitchen here. This appears to be a main living area of whatever this abode is.
Well, this is a nice place. I'm glad we checked it out.
Would anyone like to look at anything in particular? Head through one of the doors, or?
Clemens would like to examine the machine. She's not expecting to like find any useful information. She's not really
Fair enough.
She's just technology isn't really her strong suit, but she thinks it looks cool.
So you find as you look at it, the glass surface on top is actually like hollow underneath, and you can see down into the machine. And beneath the machine is more just empty space. And it appears this thing is meant to look beneath the ground. Do you continue to adjust your angle so that you're looking deeper?
Oh, that's very cool. You can just keep looking deeper and deeper. What's really down there, I wonder?
Are you going to lean in and see?
Yes.
All right, you lean over and look directly down, and you see the same maze-like pattern below. Only now it's a small subsection of it. It appears this machine has sort of locked onto an area and made this one area more comprehensible to your mind. And it is filtering the massive amount of information from below so that you are not immediately drawn to madness like you were previously. It appears this was a place of research of whatever is down there. There are several knobs on the table, each of which, if you were to just adjust it a little bit, it would shift the view to somewhere else, almost like it's some sort of massive magic microscope or telescope looking down into this strange place, viewing from different angles, different perspectives.
This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Well, I suppose enough of that. I wonder if I can make my minions make something like this in the pirate den. It'd be neat to be able to look into the, pocket void from all different angles. Maybe they could even look into it themselves and amuse themselves when they're not working.
Pocket void.
Yes.
Except this thing is about the
cool.
size of a kitchen table. It's not very pocket at all. It's like one of those old CRTs, but people were still obsessed with huge, giant TVs. So it's a giant fucking CRT that takes up the entire corner of a room.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyone else want to look around the room, or are you guys satisfied with this place?
I'm keenly aware of how easy it is for me to fail these madness checks, and I'm pretty keen to get a move on.
All right.
Yeah, let's move as fast as we can. As I'm holding the anchor, just trying to point it along the way.
All right. Fair enough. So if you would leave the building, you can continue your journey from there. continue traveling through this desert, and after a few more hours, you make it to the other edge. And for your journey through this subsection of the Plane of Madness, representing an accumulation of the force of its planar magic on you over the several hours you've been here, I would like one last intelligence saving throw from you all.
Just as that.
Yeah, baby.
Very good.
Oh no.
+0 coming right up.
Ooh.
That's another +4 from me that I know isn't gonna do anything.
I think I'll flash Faye. I don't know.
Does it pass?
I'll flash Clemens.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone's flashing.
Yeah, flash needs to be done before you know the result.
Yeah.
So can't tell you. But
Well, Clemens is going to be very smooth brain before the flash. The +4 will not happen until she understands that she's going to fail, per the
that is
rules of arcane deflection.
that does make sense.
One of the few things I can actually use in reaction instead of having to, use beforehand.
Absolutely. So both of your flashes are +5, correct?
Mine is, yeah.
Mine's
Yeah.
+4.
And yours is +4, yes. Okay, so Clemens, that brings you to a total of 17, and Faye to a 19, correct?
That is correct.
I believe so.
Okay. Faye does pass. Clemens unfortunately does not, even with all those bonuses.
Oh.
No.
So Clemens, roll me a D100, please. See what you get. And
Biblically accurate Clemens.
She just turns into the polar bear through the sheer
Sea
power
Lord or
of
whatever.
psychic
fucking
manifestation.
Seaman.
okay.
The Sea King was Clemens all along.
The first two things on this table, I think, already apply to Clemens, which is very funny to me as I read through them. But I'll go ahead and tell you what you rolled here, which is I keep whatever I find, is your new character flaw.
Okay.
The first one, which I kind of
Can't be
hoped
print.
you would roll, is being drunk keeps me sane.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Clemens
Equilibrium.
is like, I don't feel any different.
I guess I passed.
The madness washes off Clemens' smooth brain.
Yeah.
But yes,
Clemens
you
is
have
an icon.
a new character flaw. I keep whatever I find.
Okay, thank you.
And yes, you have all made it safely out of this plane. Ahead of you now, as you approach the edge of the plane, you can see it in the distance. But ahead of you is a floating. Let me double check the wording here. Exactly. Ahead of you is a floating structure of some kind. I can say that at least. A floating building, a great grand building, almost like a castle, but it doesn't appear to have that same martial aspect of it being very well defended and high walls and all of that. But it looks like that level of grandeur of a building. Tall towers, like wizard towers, all over the place. But again, constantly being eroded by the plane around it, as the towers on the edge have begun to fall. Bricks have fallen out of place. Things have crumbled and turned to dust. But towards the innermost part of this structure, things still appear to be at least not crumbled, even if they're like turning gray a bit. Yeah, that's what's directly ahead of you. Would you guys like to fly to that?
I
Would you like
think
to
so.
Find an alternate route.
I think we were trying to take as direct a route as we can, unless there's like
Yep.
something actively, obviously going to murder us in the way.
Correct.
So that'll be another casting of fly to reach it. Then one casting should be sufficient.
Yep.
But you managed to land on this floating building. This floating, we'll call it a castle, just for the sake of simplicity. And as you get closer to it, and you start to be able to pick out the details of it a little bit better, especially some of the bits of it that are closer towards the center that have not been corrupted yet. You recognize the architecture here. It was strange. From a distance, the colors were kind of made a bit more gray, just from the plane's magic. But as you get closer and the colors shine through a little bit more, there's these marble and gold. This appears to be a structure very similar to the ones you've seen in Serania, the plane you just came from.
Oh, well, this might be a nice part to get through.
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, no, probably not. Probably fucking not. But let's get moving, I guess.
All right. So as you land on the structure and begin to walk through it, it's not a terribly far journey. It's not a terribly large structure. It's not like a city or anything. But most of the towers around the outside are crumbled, turned to dust. But you can see bones inside some of the rubble. These scattered books just completely burned away, water damaged, fire damaged, any kind of damage you can imagine that makes these things completely unusable but still recognizable as books. And you get deeper into this place and you begin to see figures, but not of corporeal form. You see shadows and specters of sages long past still going about their business here, but they don't appear to be having much success. You see these shadowy outlines of figures going through and picking at library books full of shelves, very slowly moving with no real strength left in them as they reach out towards books and try to nudge a book off a shelf to maybe pry it open as their fingers just drift across the book, unable to find purchase. They're sitting there repeatedly performing this action over and over again, endlessly trying to find a book to read, but unable to interface with anything. Similar sights are scattered throughout this place, as these previous inhabitants of Serania, knowing no violence but having a purpose, have now lost that purpose and exist only in death. It's not a pretty sight, but at least it doesn't last you long. Is there anything you would like to do while you're here, or are you just moving on through?
It's a sad place, but I don't see anything for us to do here. Shall we trudge on?
Yeah, it is. It's grim, but yeah, we gotta get through.
Let's keep going.
All right. As you all stand in this place and walk through it, you realize something about all of yourselves as you're moving through this dark landscape where now there is no sun in this place like there was in the previous two fragments of plains. It is dark all around you. All the colors are changed to slightly darker shades of what they previously were. Things are all mostly shades of gray all around you. But you all, standing against the darkness, have light and color to you. It's almost as if there is an aura of light around each of you. Whatever that means, you may find out. But that's what you notice just passively.
That's kind of weird. Hopefully this doesn't make us too much of targets.
Gonna make us targets.
Would anyone like to roll me an Arcana or Religion check to see if they...
I'd love
Oh,
to.
maybe I
do.
sure
this
do.
means?
Sure do. Let me,
Ooh, that's
let
a
me
good roll.
juice. Oh, yeah, I can't physically do better than that. Nope.
Damn.
You could roll exactly that. Oh no, you couldn't. No, you couldn't actually roll.
Nope.
No,
This
never
could have been
mind.
natural.
Still pretty good all around. And you know what? It's actually fitting that Carrick would come up with this answer soonest. You are in the plane of death, and there's a certain spell that was cast on all of you before you came here. A certain spell that Carrick often casts on the party.
Indeed.
You are all currently warded against death, which appears to be having more of a function in this plane than it would in others. It appears Death Ward is really putting in work here, and you begin to wonder what would happen if you didn't have it on you. A hint.
Imagine if we
it'd be
just
bad.
didn't
Oh,
think
it's a
about
good
it,
thing.
stepped into the portal, walked 10 feet and died, and that was the end of the campaign.
Let's see. I'll say 27 is high enough. I was gonna any too much lower, and I probably wouldn't give you this extra information. But once you get deep enough into this plane, any being that does not either have Death Ward on them or meets one of a list of other conditions takes constant damage just from being here if they are alive. But Death Ward is one of the conditions that can prevent you from this. So it's very fortunate that you cast that habitually on the party.
Yes, thanks.
Wow, it's a good thing we're all death warded. Otherwise, we'd be currently dying.
Oh, that's a good thing to not be doing.
I mean, technically, well, some of us are always dying. I assume one of us has the boon of immortality at this point.
I think
If
Dross
not,
does,
then gotcha.
but not in this group.
Yes.
Clemens chose to forego immortality to make other people less immortal.
That's pretty fair.
Same. Well, at least we're not constantly taking damage.
Yes. Shall we continue on not dying?
Let's.
Yeah, so it paints a cool picture while you're all walking around, and it's strange as you see each other, this dark landscape around you, but around each of you is this aura that not only are you projecting your own color, of course, just against the background, but it's almost like in the immediate area around you, within a foot or two, you can make out the colors of that space just a little bit better. And so you all move through this place, and you continue on until you get to the other side of what I will reveal to be called the Drifting Citadel, which means nothing other than its flavor, but that is the location you've just made your way through. And so, on the other side of this place is another large gap in the void, and then you see what appears to be just crumbled structures in the distance, different from what you've been on here in this floating citadel. Instead, or drifting citadel, this architecture doesn't make any sense ahead of you. There's lots of rubble and ruins, and you don't recognize anything that would tie it to a plane necessarily, but there just appears to be like endless crumbled city ahead of you as your next destination.
Does that city look familiar to us? Being, impossibly architecturous? As we've seen another impossibly architecturous city recently, haven't we?
Another impossible city. This appears more like everything here is crumbled, rather than a massive, endless city of everything being well constructed and all that. This just appears to be
Gotcha.
less about the buildings and more about it being ruins. Everything here is just ruins. So it's really hard to even make out where one building begins and another ends, and it's just bones and bricks and crashed wagons and just endless paths of destruction that overlap and move in chaotic ways, and it doesn't make any sense. You can see figures walking through these streets as well, but hard to make out exactly what they are from here.
Well, there's some people. Maybe. Probably not people. Maybe. We should probably, just maybe wave as we go overhead. Hope they're not, nasty people. Maybe. What do you all think?
I mean, if they're nasty people and we wave, Isn't that gonna get them to attack us?
Well, then maybe we don't wave. Maybe we just sort of sneak by in the air.
I am strongly in favor of option B.
Uh, I've got limited flight resources left.
Yeah, let's. I really want to save Milos more damn flying slots.
So shall we then sneak through the city itself? It seems like it's a lot of things to trip on. It might be difficult to. Shall we go around? I'm not sure what our options really are here.
What if I try and carry Milos?
I think that's a good idea, actually.
I mean,
I could
They're
just
not all that
teleport us
heavy.
all to the other side of it, but that might be a grievous misuse of magic.
Yeah, no, I think we're trying to avoid overuse of magic in one way or another. I think the multiple flying people carrying her is maybe the move, even if it means we move a little slower.
I could get in the orb if that would help.
The orb.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about the orb.
Can we put Milos in the orb?
Absolutely.
Back into the Pokeball.
Oh my
It
fucking
was
god.
the other party's favorite trick.
Yeah, Roy Orbison it up. Fucking get him in there.
Orbit up.
Well, I guess I'll hop in the orb.
And we fly!
In the forever box, but it's the forever ball.
Find myself a nice book to read, you know.
Yes, exactly. There's plenty of books in there. It's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just have to make an intelligence save every once in a while while reading them, but otherwise, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I've got a plus 21. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. All right.
Milos' enclosure.
So Milos is in the Pokeball, and you all fly across the gap and down into this strange place of ruins, where again there's just endless bones and bricks and stuff around you. It almost appears like I mentioned before, a path of destruction has come through here. And again, it reminds you in some ways of the plane of battle, but clearly is not actually the plane of battle. There are craters and bloodstains and remains of what appear to be like weapons of like siege weapons, but siege weapons that are like mixed in with just regular houses and things that don't make any sense where they could be. And down below, as you fly over and you're a lot closer, you see just an endless number of undead weaving in and out of the streets here. There's everything from wights to zombies to ghouls. Most of them are not incredibly intelligent down there, just wandering the streets looking for anything of less stature than themselves to just beat on. You can see some of the stronger undead wandering and just picking off lesser zombies and things as they go, but there seems to be no end of these corpses despite the constant violence that happens down below. As you continue to fly, how long can you all fly together like this? I think the only one who has a time limit at this point would be Clemens.
I think I'm just using boots of flying that don't have a time limit.
Yeah, I thought so too.
That is the trick.
I just have to sprint the entire time.
Do have a time limit.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
It's just a very long time
It is a
limit.
long time limit, but I
Gotcha.
think it's multiple hours. I just can't remember exactly. It's one of those complicated items where it's like, yeah, you can expend it in minutes at a time, and then it doesn't recover all of itself every day. It recovers a portion, and like all this random.
Oh.
I don't care about tracking all that as long as we don't exceed the daily limit.
Right.
On it.
I am trying to find the boots on my character sheet, and I am not seeing them. Were they on somebody else's character sheet?
I think we just verbally said you had them, but
Right.
Boots of flying. Winged boots. There we go. Winged boots, I believe, were the item you created, or Carrot created? Question mark. Up to 4 hours per day.
Gotcha.
So potentially
I don't
quite a
think
long
we've
time.
had that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many hours would you say we've already gone today?
I'd say most of today has been walking. As far as your flying time has gone, less than an hour total,
Okay.
which is not too bad. However, you have walked for multiple hours at this point. If you're going to be flying for multiple hours at this point too, whether it's flying, was walking across the plane of madness is what took most of your time here.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, it seems as several hours pass as you're flying over this place of endless destruction, it appears you are no longer in a place of you are no longer in a place of other planes being formed and slowly eaten away, or stolen, I should say, not formed. It appears you are in a place that is native to the plane of death at this point, as you are traversing across it at a fast pace for an extended amount of time. It is either an extremely large chunk of another plane, or it's something native to this one.
Oh, so this is where the skeletons are.
Yeah, indeed, this is where many skeletons are below you. And let's see, as you fly over, most things are not looking up to the sky, but occasionally some of the more intelligent creatures below will take notice, and most are intelligent enough to scurry away and hide in the shadows. You see things quickly move from cover to cover beneath you as you approach, like mice running away from the cats that you all are in this place. But occasionally you'll see something stronger that at least will stand up and stare at you, even if it doesn't reach out with violence immediately. You see beings with bright red eyes that almost glow in the darkness, these which you can spot easily because everything down there is just shades of gray, and then these bright red eyes pierce through that darkness quite easily and stand out against the backdrop. These beings look pretty just standard humanoid looking up at you. Some of them are wearing armor, some of them are wearing robes. They're all sort of mixed in their different levels of equipment, but all of them appear fairly confident for what they're doing. Yeah, you guys have all encountered these in the past easily, so I'll just identify them as there are definitely vampires below you, mixed in with some of the other undead.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, fuck.
But they also all appear to be smart enough to not just fly up and attack. They recognize that here on the plane of death, if there are travelers just kind of flying overhead that are all beacons of bright light and color in the sky, probably
Maybe
don't want
don't.
to fuck with that. Yeah, probably you're too strong for them to just mess with. But you do see some of them take notice, and so you have been spotted by some of the natives of this plane at this point. What that means for you may
Sanest
find out.
enemies in any RPG ever.
Indeed.
That's something to take note of, I suppose. Hopefully they don't, do anything more than what they're doing now.
Yeah, I guess I hope just us being on the outskirts, maybe, yeah, maybe there's nothing big enough here to want to fuck with us, but I think we should be extra fast from here on out.
That definitely could make some sense, yes.
Yes, let the speediness commence, I suppose.
All right. So you continue flying, and you're approaching what would be a complete day of travel at this point, and you're also running out of fly speed on Clemens's boots. So this is about the time when you would want to begin looking for a place to settle in for the evening, or you could push yourselves and see if you can travel a little bit farther today.
Well, if we're all getting tired, I'll just summon the pirate ship portal.
I was about to say, if there's any place to push ourselves, I think it's here.
Yeah, let's push ourselves until it seems like we may be running into danger of getting potentially ambushed by something that will leave us at a disadvantage because of our fatigue. At which point, I can summon the pirate ship portal and we can safely rest for the night. So long as nothing can, rip invisible portals open with its bare hands, in which case I don't know that we'd be able to do much against it anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Well, shall we continue on for the moment? I can cast Fly on myself. Let's see. 10 minutes for a third level spell. Yeah. I'll I'll do it.
All right. So if you're all pushing yourselves beyond the normal day's travel, then that is a Constitution save for everybody, please. And if you're pushing yourselves for an hour, that's going to be multiple casts of Fly. But unless you would like to
Yes.
settle down and do some walking.
Alternatively, if we're just gonna do like a final push, I could polymorph and carry Clemens.
Oh,
Okay. Otherwise, I'll just need to use all my 3rd and 4th level spells just to fly.
Advantage.
There's a lot of spells.
23.
All right. Very good. Very good.
So unfortunately, upcasting Fly doesn't give you any more duration. Just lets you fly additional people.
Indeed. And can I get a Constitution save from Carrick as well, please? Not that I think you're all at too much danger of.
Do I need to give another throw, or is that just because Faye didn't roll at advantage?
That was just because I didn't see
It's
Carrick.
because I didn't do advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, ignore me.
Didn't do advantage. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Carrick. Very good. Everyone passed. Flying colors on all of your Constitution saves. This group is healthy as fuck, despite being in literally the plane of death, which is somewhat surprising. But you're able to push on for another hour of travel. And as you go, you see what appears to be, in quite contrast to the ruins around you, a castle ahead of you, just rising from the ruins, seemingly mostly unscathed. There are some scorch marks, some parts of the walls that are collapsed inwards, but it doesn't appear to be nearly in as much ruins as everything around you, and it's the first real structure you've seen out here in a bit. This is what you see in the distance, and it would probably take another hour or so to get there, but it is a pretty big castle.
Is the compass pointing there?
It is a little off from the compass's path. It doesn't appear to be your destination.
Shall we go to bed now?
Seems like a good call, honestly. I'm certainly in favor.
Might as well.
All right, Clemens is going to start casting Magnificent Mansion.
All right. How long does that take to cast? Just a minute?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, so if you're down on the ground for 1 minute, I think most things nearby would scurry away if they're intelligent enough to, but some of the nearby zombies, low level enough that I'm not going to make you roll for initiative to actually fight them off, would approach you. But between the rest of you, with cantrips and weapons and all of that, you can pretty easily dispense some very low level zombies. And those are the only things stupid enough to actually approach you down here. It appears.
I'll even summon a fire elemental to help. Actually, I can't do that because that requires concentration.
Oh,
Never
true.
mind.
You summon a fire elemental, it punches exactly one zombie and then disappears.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just as Araki intended.
Exactly. And so you complete the summoning of your magnificent mansion.
Right, shall we go in?
Yes, please.
All right.
Right, we'll go into the pirate portal, I guess, and then it will close behind us and become invisible once we're all through.
Indeed. You go through the pirate portal. And, yeah, is there anything special any of you would like to do in here, or are you all jumping straight to a long rest?
Maximum efficiency. Get rest as quick as possible.
Yeah, I think we're resting.
All right.
Clemens will start some servants creating a replica of the weird magical device that she found in the house thing.
Perfect.
No way of actually making it work, but it'll look like it.
Do you let Milos out of the Pokeball?
Yes.
Do we need to make an intelligence check to see if we remember that he's in the Pokeball?
No, I think that's fine. I'm just picturing Milo asleep on a pile of books or something instead. But
I definitely remember.
yes, perfect. You definitely
Perfect.
remember. You enter the door and Carrick just immediately takes out the Pokeball. Like boom, maximum efficiency. You guys are going right the fuck to bed.
Have there been anything interesting to read during my time in the Pokeball?
I like to think as well that normally this thing operates as you set it down on the ground and a door opens and you can open that door. But with a natural 20, Carrick just turns the door sideways and dumps Milos out of the Pokeball. on the floor. Like it's a real Pokeball just dumping the contents out into the world. Like, I choose you, Milos.
Bedtime. Let's go.
But did I find anything interesting in my reading?
Make me an intelligence saving throw.
Absolutely. 41.
Jesus Christ.
Y'all, what on God's name?
You do find something interesting to read while you're in there. You find a fragment of the Draconic Prophecy, which isn't about the future. It's about something you've already come across. You're like, wow, I recognize all of the inputs to this thing, so the output must be true. And it speaks of, again, the winds of change, which is something you now are seeing pop up more and more in the prophecy whenever you hear of it or read of it. It speaks of the winds of change finding an important book. And you recognize this to have happened fairly recently.
Oh, cool.
Indeed.
Did we find a book? I can't remember finding a book.
Faye currently possesses a book.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God! Wait, for real?
You traded something, a signature, something like that, for a book.
Yeah.
It was
No, I remember.
the tragedy of I fucked it up and called it the curse mark of death because I had Elden Ring on my brain, but it is the dragon mark of death. The tragedy of
I
the
mean,
dragon
that's
mark
real
of death.
shit. I know. I'm just losing it that apparently was important. That was a goof. Okay. Well, I mean, on one hand, I know it's group bedtime, but otherwise, yeah. I mean, I would tell Milos that I have the book.
Maybe it's
Cool.
reading material for next time Milos is in the Pokeball.
Absolutely.
There you go. All right. So you all turn in for bed. You can complete a long rest. Nothing is going to invade your magnificent mansion.
Thank you.
That is the dopest shit moments. Holy shit.
Rip 6 HP.
Very sag. Any
26
buffs being cast during the long rest, whether it's beforehand or afterward.
You know we doing that, hitting those fucking quads, baby.
Hitting those quads.
Woo woo.
All right.
Yeah, I'll cast Long Strider on myself. Just get a little bit extra move speed.
I like that. All right, some long striding on.
Is there any way to tell, like, how far we might still be from this, from the anchor point before we got in there?
Unfortunately, it's pretty hard to tell exactly. A lot of the ways you would do so would be to make some small movements to the compass, try to record the different angles, and sort of triangulate from there. But it takes a bit of distance to really get any kind of real scale, especially for longer distances, of course. So I don't, unless you were to go outside and try going back and forth quite a long ways to see how far it would be. Just shaking the compass back and forth in your hand outside, it doesn't budge the needle at all, so it appears you would need quite a bit of distance to get any kind of accurate reading on that. So it doesn't appear you're necessarily close yet, unfortunately.
If it takes me flying around like another hour to figure it out, to figure it out if it will be more than one day. Probably, I want to try and fly.
Okay, so you're gonna push for another hour before bed.
Yep.
Okay, another Constitution save, please. You'll probably pass this one as well. Your bonus is very high. You
I'll
just
flash
passed it,
it.
actually.
Okay.
Thankfully, the chances of you failing it were pretty low, but you did manage it. So yeah, you fly back and forth quite a ways out here in the plane, trying to get any kind of reading you can on this thing. And it does. It appears that your destination would probably be within the next day of travel. You don't think it'll take
All
more
right.
than a day unless you're set back by other circumstances than just distance.
Sounds good. I'm glad I did that, and I'll go to bed.
All right.
Good shit.
Yes.
I would also want to change my spell storing item to Alter Self.
Ooh.
And give it to Clements so that she could disguise herself as a skeleton if she wanted to.
Ooh.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Dreams coming true.
That's big. That's huge. Do you tell Clemens you've invented lesser invisibility?
That is exactly what I tell her.
Perfect. You've perfected the art of the invisible
80%
skeleton.
invisible.
I will very happily become a skeleton.
Don't give up, skeleton.
The even lesser invisibility only makes your skeleton invisible and none of the rest of you.
The ultimate spookiness.
Yes.
The other skeletons will never see it coming.
It's true. It's true. They
You get 10 hours of skeleton Clements.
Thank you.
That's a lot of skeleton. Perfect.
I want to see this infomercial.
Chili
Now
days
that's a lot of
here.
skeleton.
If you order now, you could get not just 5 hours of skeleton, but 5 additional bonus hours of skeleton.
I like to imagine too.
For free.
Alter Self alters your own biology, right? It's not just like an illusion spell or anything. So I like to imagine that they're sitting there talking over these points like, yeah, you can get an additional 5 hours for free. It works just like this. They cast it on themselves. They turn into a skeleton. They no longer have vocal cords or lips or a tongue. And they're just clattering their teeth together, and it's but continuing with the commercial as normal.
The subtitles remain.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking odd.
Just clack, 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 and then they turn back.
Skeleton issues require skeleton solutions.
Yes, exactly. All right, but yes, you've completed your rest, and shenanigans aside, is there any other buffs? Foresight, I heard. Longstrider, I heard. We pop in new Death Wards. We pop in.
Yes.
Was there a
In the
fancy
morning.
feast?
Oh, I will.
No, I'm not
inform-
burning another fancy feast.
All right.
I am
Man,
gonna
should
inform
I?
Clemens
Fuck.
that becoming a skeleton using lesser invisibility does take concentration. So if you break concentration, you'll revert or become visible again.
A small price to pay.
I take it back. I totally am fancy feasting. I feel like if anywhere is going to have horrible fear effects, it's going to be here. So I'll take that.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Take that L. We'll consume one of my boys.
Yeah, full on death wards tomorrow.
Now, the problem, quote unquote problem, is the Boots of Flying only regain 2 hours of flying capability for each 12 hours they are not in use.
True.
So we can, if we wait an additional few hours in here, I can get 2 hours of flying back, but they won't just fully recharge overnight.
Yep.
That is correct. You could alternatively walk and do some zombie smiting as you go, which would be slower probably, but you could polymorph and fly. There's alternate solutions, but just throwing that out there. Up to you guys.
I would like, if everybody else is willing, to wait the additional hours just to get 2 hours in my boots, and then maybe just start on foot and keep the boots for if they're needed. Unless everybody really thinks we should just continue flying immediately.
How How many people can we put in the Pokeball?
All of us.
Oh, so we
So I
can
think
fly as
you-
much as we want.
Yeah, true. As long
What
as
if-
somebody is outside the Pokeball to open it, the rest of you can be in it.
We could just have you get in there and save us a couple hours.
What if Clemens carried the Pokeball disguised as a skeleton so the other skeletons wouldn't suspect anything?
True.
What if? Wait, no, that's a couple hours, not a couple minutes. Never mind.
If we put both Clements and Milos in the Pokeball, we can fly quite quickly, Faye and I, with no limit.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
that's smart.
True.
This guy
It might
knows what he's
be-
doing.
Slightly tricky to get us out if something happens, but
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. But it's gonna be so much faster. Yeah.
oh, can I borrow that book, Faye? Figure I might as well read it while we're traveling.
Oh yeah, dig in. I don't know what the fuck to do with it. You'll know best. Good luck.
All right. So it sounds like travel is commencing with the others in the orb then? How does that work with Magnificent Mansion? Do you have to be in the mansion to maintain it, Clemens? I forget. Or
I do not have to be in the mansion to maintain it, I'm pretty sure. One second.
That is fair. I just want to make sure.
You
is
have
there another
a-
plane then? That's Lamau.
The entrance, right. Entrance shimmers faintly, is 5 feet wide, 10 feet tall. You and any creatures you designate when you cast it can enter. So I start outside it,
So
but there's a
there
portal
must
that we
be-
can walk in.
Yes, okay.
I
so
can
this
open
allows-
or...
Okay, fair enough. That does make sense. So you've designated your party so they can freely enter and leave. Very good. All right, so the two of you are in the orb then, and you guys exit the Magnificent Mansion. Actually, no. Hold on. Deciding exactly which order of events here. Yes, okay. You exit the Magnificent Mansion, or rather, roll me a perception check, Carrick and Faye. This does make sense, yes, because the door you can just open. Apologies, multiple mechanics stacking up here.
Nope, that's
You love to
persuade.
see it.
I don't know how I beat you. Okay.
All right.
How
You're
much health do we
inside-
get for the Hero's Feast? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
oh, I
for,
forgot. Good. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. That is important.
Aston. All right. Let's see. Healing. I'm gonna totally beef it this time. No, that's better.
Slightly better. Glad to see
Acceptable.
it.
All right. 8 max HP.
All right. You both exit the door without noticing anything. And I assume close it behind you. Probably wouldn't just leave it up. Or I guess it's not really a door that opens and closes, just a portal that you can enter and leave, right? So it'll still be open, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still trying to remember exactly how this spell works. Because it is
I'm
a
not the
weird
one to
one
answer that, actually.
for the details of it. Magnificent Mansion. Entrance shimmers faintly. Yep. You can open and close the portal if you're within 30 feet of it. So Clemens would probably have to. As long as the portal remains open. So Clemens can open the portal before you all leave, but if Clemens is in the orb before you leave, Clemens cannot close the door again afterwards. But that's potentially fine if you're just abandoning it or canceling the spell.
Yeah, nobody else can enter it without my permission.
That's true.
And the portal just reappears when I cast the spell again. So unless there's some kind of like really smart castery undead boy, like a frickin' mind flayer who's like, yes, I'm going to use this evil knowledge to create a sinister trap for the adventurers down the line. I can't imagine that there's any downside to leaving it here.
Fair enough. All right, so you leave the door open then, because nobody can enter anyways. That spell text is very long. Okay, so we got through that. You all could go back through it again. That is a possibility. But you all exit and step down onto the surprisingly wet ground that does not appear wet to your eyes. And as you look down to see, well, what the fuck was that squidgy sound? There are eyes on the ground looking back up at you. And we will roll for initiative next time.
Dun, 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 dun.
As
Okay.
some sort of ooze has taken up residence outside your door, waiting as a trap, but has
And
yes.
sorry to interrupt you.
No, go
I'm so
ahead.
sorry. The door is still open, or we have closed the door?
The door is still open. It is a
Okay,
portal that Clemens has
rad.
left open. Yes.
Rad.
However, I can't close it without.
Yes, and we haven't rolled
Being
for
outside.
initiative yet, and it has surprised you. Because it did roll higher stealth than your perceptions. But we
Nice.
will get to that next time. Exactly how that plays
Yay.
out and how you manage to get out of that. But yes, the eye is open and then immediately begins releasing these like terrible smelling fumes into the air that begin to like choke your eyes and mouth and make it hard to breathe. And this thing is obviously very, very poisonous and very, very nasty and will not be very good for you, it appears.
Wait, doesn't Fancy Feast protect us from poison?
It does indeed. So you'll probably be okay from that part
nice.
of it, but it still is a creature that will attack you.
Well, yeah.
So, but I know we're a little early tonight, but I don't want to get into a full thing of combat with only a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
So we'll end on that cliffhanger and pick it up from there in the future. But welcome to the Plane of Death. It has gone surprisingly well so far. You all have rolled very well. Let's hope your luck continues next time. Because as you get deeper, it's just going to get nastier. So you're going to need that luck.
Yeah, I'm both pleased and like very wary of how conspicuously not terrible this has gone so far, but I guess that this is really just the approach. So I'm under no illusion that this is gonna just be smooth sailing. So thank you for running. That was
Yeah,
rad.
thank y'all for playing.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you.
very
Thanks
much. It
for
was
running.
very fun.
I'll catch up with you guys next time.